Welcome to West Valley City, Utah, just outside of Salt Lake for the big kickoff of women's collegiate gymnastics in 2026. In town, the most dominant team of the last decade, the Oklahoma Sooners. They've won 3 of 4 NCAA championships recently. The only one they did not win was won by the LSU Tigers in 2024. Many were surprised by the UCLA Bruins in 25 when they were second to the Oklahoma Sooners, led by the most decorated gymnast in college, Jordan Childs. And Utah, one of the most storied programs in history. They've won 10 national titles. Will this be the year they get back to the top of the mountain? Welcome to the 2026 Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad on ABC. And now let's take a look at our schedule, brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. 2 quad meets today. This is the first one, led by the national champions, the Oklahoma Sooners. Coming up later today on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern, led by the Michigan State Spartans, will be the quad meet number 2. Hello everyone, I am John Roethlisberger, joined by a couple of Olympic medalists, Allie Raisman, Sam Peshek. Always great to be with you guys. What a great way, Allie, to kick off the 2026 season.
It certainly is, and don't let the beginning of the season fool you. We have 4 teams here right now that could easily contend for the national championship, and we get a first look at them today.
And if you're wondering just how critical this meet is to the rest of the season, let me put it in perspective and remind you that the team that won this meet last year ended up becoming the national champions.
Well, let's talk about the teams to watch, and you can't start without talking about Oklahoma. Dominant team in the last decade.
They've won 7 of the last 11 national championships, and every year we wonder, can they do it again? And I gotta tell you, after watching practice yesterday and today, I can tell you they are on the right track to do it again.
Yeah, they absolutely look like they are in preseason, postseason form, possibly for the Sooners. Now, Sam, a lot of individual stars as well to watch here today.
Another huge superstar everybody is looking forward to seeing is Jordan Childs, Olympic champion and 3-time NCAA champion. Had a fantastic week 1. She tied her career high 9.975 on balance beam. Could this meet be the day where she gets her first perfect 10 on balance beam? There's not much she hasn't done in this sport.
And we do not walk alone. We are joined by the 4th member of our team, Taylor Davis, who's got more on LSU and Utah.
Well, John, a new season is underway, but for both LSU and Utah, a lot of motivation was taken from how last season ended. Like you mentioned, LSU seeing their season end on semifinal day. Utah unable to repeat the performance of semifinal day, finishing this season 4th overall. And I know what you're thinking. Those are incredible seasons, but both felt they were equipped for much more. Connor McLean and Avery Neff both told me that approach to reaching full potential has permeated into this season. 2 programs rich in tradition and talent, and a national championship is always the goal, John.
Thanks, Taylor. The best teams in the country, amazing stars from across the nation, getting the season kicked off now. It is going to be a fantastic start to women's collegiate gymnastics. It's coming up next. Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. The energy in the arena is electric. Everyone knows this is the big kickoff to the collegiate season. This is how the double dual quad meet format works. Vault and beam will alternate, bars and floor will alternate. You'll have no more than 2 events occurring simultaneously. That means you should get to see virtually all of the gymnastics being done today. And 4 judges per apparatus. Lots of eyes will be on them. Must-see routines. We're going to talk about a lot of that today. Allie, Sam, your must-see routines here in first rotation.
Yeah, I'm looking at Oklahoma on vault. They're starting strong. And the freshman routine you got to see is Mackenzie Estep. Head coach KJ Kindler said she could be a 10 on every event, but this is our first look at her this season.
And Sam, I'm looking at Utah on beam. I'm going to start with Avery Neff. She does a connection on beam that nobody else does in the entire competition, and she's one of the best gymnasts in all in NCAA.
All right, a couple big routines to watch there. Every routine is going to be big throughout this competition. Oklahoma starting on vault. I got to say, you guys, I watched them warm up before this competition started, before the one touch. and they put up the biggest score you will see in the entire season in their warm-up. It was absolutely astounding. If they do that all season, no one will touch them on this event. It was jaw-dropping. Taylor, you were over there with me watching that one, and we couldn't believe it. I don't think Oklahoma could believe how good it was as Lily Peterson gets ready to start things off for the Sooners.
I noticed the same thing, John. Every single vault was 995 or higher. Their exhibition could have gone a 10.0. Starting off, Yurchenko, 1.5. Good body positions in the air. Small step forward. We call that a step in the right direction.
Over to bars, junior Caitlin Rosen for the UCLA Bruins, their first event.
Caitlin is a great leadoff on this event. And one of my favorite parts of the routine is coming up right here. I saw her at the national championship take a deep breath. Does such a good job of being patient, hitting her handstands on the top of the bar, what the judges are looking for.
Now quickly over to beam. Utah will start here. This is Elizabeth Gantner. Tough place to start, you guys? Big competition like this?
Really tough place to start. Not only are you starting on balance beam, which is a tough event mentally, but she's actually replacing an Olympian that used to go in this leadoff spot. Very critical. Back handspring layout. She's been in big positions before and handled the pressure.
LSU on the right hand of your screen there. Emily Innes getting things going on an event for LSU that's been, over the years, a very strong event for them. So looking forward to getting out early here in this competition.
What I notice about Emily is right on this first tumbling pass, she is so patient before she starts twisting. She keeps her chest up, waits a beat, and then starts twisting.
You'll notice on the right hand of your screen, that is our scoring tower. So each team is over there. You can see Oklahoma at the top and the gymnasts underneath them that are competing on that event. As you see that beam routine finish up for Elizabeth Gantner.
Huge first routine for Utah. There were 0 wobbles. Head coach Carly Dockendorf said, this is a beam team, we're seeing it.
As the scores come in, they will populate. You can see Caitlin Rosen for UCLA on bars. Her scores in 9,875. The team totals will be at the bottom. We'll try to keep you abreast of those scores as we go through, but trying to make it easy for you at home to follow the scoring. Elizabeth Leslie now for Oklahoma. On the vault, second one to go, 9,825 for Peterson right before her.
Front pike half, pretty significant hop back on that landing. This is an athlete that coaches have said have shown a lot of growth this year in overall mental strength, and that's something Lou Ball looks for when he's choosing his lineups on vault.
Now over to the uneven bars for UCLA. One of the star freshmen, they have got quite a stable of freshmen that have come in, a really outstanding group of national team members. This is Tiana Sumana-Sakara getting things going here. Second up for UCLA after that 9,875 from Rosen.
And Tiana was actually slated to go into the bar lineup last week. She struggled so much on that 30-second touch in the warm-up, they decided to take her out. She was committed this past week to working on mentally preparing to do it well. So great correction to be in the lineup this week.
Ella Zerbis, left hand of your screen for Utah on beam.
This is Tiana's first competitive bar routine. I don't think it went too bad. She's gonna be pretty excited about that. Oh no. First fall of the competition. That handspring layout really just looked like she was so far off the beam, couldn't pull it back and adjust to save that.
And if you're new to the sport of women's gymnastics, they compete 6 on each event, but they count the top 5 scores of those 6. So a major break like we just saw from Zerbis there on being that fall is something that Utah can erase from their team score, but now the pressure on the remaining athletes. 4 left to go. They're going to want 4 hits so they can count a total of 5 good routines.
And a fall is 5/10. So again, they don't have to count this routine, and it's not detrimental yet. There's a lot of competition left.
That was only Avery's second time competing in her collegiate career on beam, so she should be very proud of herself.
Now over to floor exercise for LSU. Somebody I think all of us are very excited to see. She's just a freshman from Boca Raton, Florida, Nina Ballou, and she is a fun one to watch. Big mount here to open.
So much control on that double layout. A judge told me to ask myself, did she want to take a step or did she have to? And that was a perfect example of that control.
Addison Fada for Oklahoma on vault. Blessy right before her, just a 9.8.
Addison's doing a Yurchenko 1.5. Had so much control in the warm-up and was able to have that sort of control in the competition. Tough to do under nerves. Head coach Jay Clark calls her an alpha, and I think you can tell that just by watching her do that floor routine, Allie.
What's impressive is the way that she was able to control those landings. I didn't see one single landing deduction, and when you add in the podium, the bounce, the adrenaline, well done.
So pressure moment for Utah here early. Ella Zerbis 9.025. I feel like you cannot afford to count a score like that in a meet like this and expect to win. What does that mean? That means Bailey Stroud, just a freshman, has got to hit a routine that for Utah hopefully leads to 4 hits in a row. Sophomore Mika Webster longing now for UCLA on the bars following Sumana Sekera's 9.9 for the freshman.
Mika's form on this event is exquisite. Her toe point, everything, the precision in all of her movements. And this full and dismount is one of my favorite legs glued together. Just let go just a tad too early.
And I've been watching the left-hand side of your screen. Some coaches might be nervous that a freshman is going in after a fall. Oh, man. Another significant mistake from Utah on beam. I watched their warm-ups, and man, they look so solid. First time competing on podium for Utah and going after a fall. Nice learning moment for the freshman here.
Absolutely. Early on in the season, I'm never surprised to see falls because it is so nerve-wracking and you have to get used to being on the podium. Oftentimes the beam has an extra bounce to it, hard to adjust.
Madison Ulrich Jr. from Fort Mill, South Carolina now on floor exercise for the Tigers. Got a couple of 9.8 plus scores, trying to build on that. Over on vault, Mackenzie Estep, a freshman from Auburn, Washington, now the 4th gymnast to go. Fada, 9.875 before her.
Such a dynamic Yurchenko 1.5 and does a phenomenal job. I think she maybe moved 1 foot, but if you just were looking at the top of her body, it almost looked like she stuck it.
Looking for their first 9.9 on vault. That warm-up rotation they had, they didn't score below a 9.9 out of all their vaulters. So trying to build here are the Sooners.
When we asked Coach Clark about Madison, he said, we needed her. You can see how much she means to this team, the value that she brings. Yep. Just throws her arms right to the side on that layout, no deduction there.
And she is a transferred after 2 years at Denver, where she was an outstanding gymnast for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and they needed her because they lost some heavy hitters and they wanted her to be in the all-around. Good pop off the table. She squeezes her legs, opens her arms at the correct time to just ease into that landing.
So if the pressure wasn't high already, it is really amped up. Stroud just a 9.2, and what comes up next? Another freshman, Abby Rissman from Rochester, Minnesota. They're already counting a miss. I don't know if they can get away with one miss, let alone two. Got to hit the rest of the way. Another freshman right hand to your screen for UCLA, Nola Matthews.
Oh man, another fall, another freshman, another learning moment for this Utah team on beam.
And Nola on bars right now, I wonder if she can hear the crowd gasping. You can prepare for a lot of things when you're competing, but what you cannot prepare for is if it's going to be silent, loud, or something else happens out of your control around you. Nola did a great job finishing that routine.
Mika Webster logged in right before her, 9.825 for UCLA.
You know, a lot of coaches here in this competition said that what they wanted to see from their team is how they adjust and bounce back from obstacles. Utah certainly has a few obstacles here, so she's trying to finish this routine strong and show head coach Carly Dockendorf that she can keep the train back on track after a little mistake.
So two gymnasts yet to go for Utah. Things starting off very rough for the Utes. Over to LSU now, again on floor exercise. Madison Ulrich, a 9.775. Currently their lowest score. You can see in the score tower, the lighter shaded scores are the ones that they would currently drop should that score stay their lowest score of the rotation. Amari Drayton, I know someone you guys are so excited to see. She's been great, but looks like she may have taken that next step in her career. Faith Torres, left hand to your screen for the Sooners.
Well, we know what Faith can do on this event. Another Yurchenko 1.5 and another clean landing for the Sooners.
Amari just did one of the highest double layouts. Makes it look like she's on a trampoline. It is not that bouncy if you've never been on a floor before. What I like about Amari's jumps is my coaches used to tell me, imagine someone is taking a photo of you. Hold that 180-degree split, have your arms in the right place.
Left hand to your screen, one of the stars in all of women's collegiate gymnastics. She's just a sophomore, Avery Neff.
Oh, looked like she let go of her legs a little bit too early. Sometimes when you're in a big arena like this, the lights are, you're not used to the lights being so bright. Could have just been a little bit lost in the air. Maybe didn't have enough endurance.
Avery's the athlete on the team that you want to going after some mistakes. She is so aggressive on this event. Usually the athletes that are the most aggressive on beam have the least amount of mistakes. Handles that difficult Shishinova combination. Struggled a little bit on that last weekend.
We talked to head coach Carly Dockendorf from Utah about Avery, and she said she really is that personality, that approach, that mindset that she wants to see permeate throughout her team. I call it lion mode, and I think that lion in her is what that Utah team needs to emulate, because she has got it to be a champion.
And she does it. Good dismount, step on the landing, but they needed a hit routine.
Ashley Sullivan for UCLA, right hand to your screen. Another one of these sensational freshmen for UCLA.
Pirouette right on top of the high bar. Wow, love to see the handstand right over the bar, exactly what the judges are looking for. Just a small half a tenth jump back there. Very well done.
She didn't even come to UCLA until November, but fit in so well with this team.
So Oklahoma rolling on vault. They broke 9-9 with their last two scores, 9-9-0 and 9-9-2-5 for Estep and Torres respectively. Now Kira Wells to anchor this already good vault rotation, trying to eliminate that 9-8 from Blessy. That is their low score so far.
Finishing this vault rotation with another Yurchenko 1.5. That's a 10-0 start value. She normally does a good job getting a nice block. Ooh. Landed straight knees. You want to land with your knees bent so that you can absorb the mat and stick easily. And it's pretty risky to land with straight knees. That really makes me cringe. That tells me that she was trying too hard to go for that stick. Her block was phenomenal and just didn't really know how high she was when she landed.
Appears to be okay after that landing, other than certainly going to incur a deduction. But good rotation for Oklahoma to get things started. We saw a couple of mistakes from Utah on beam. Now one mistake from Amari Drayton on floor exercise. This is Kaylin Chio. She's a sophomore. Her and Kalia Lincoln will finish this floor rotation for LSU and try to erase that 9.025 from Drayton. Meanwhile, the anchor for Utah, Anna Patarariu for the Utes, trying to finish on a good note for them.
And Kaylin actually rolled her ankle a couple of weeks ago. It's remarkable. She was able to do that difficult first tumbling pass so well.
Anna Patarariu is so seasoned on this event. Just watch her face when she's doing balance beam. It's a weird thing to say when she's doing so many cool skills, but she's smiling through, clearly had a crooked front aerial, was able to adjust quickly, pull it back on the beam, and she's still smiling through it, hopefully telling the judges not to take any deductions for the rest of her routine.
Sam, it's going to be interesting if they give Anna that connection. Looked like she moved her foot. Judges do not want to see any type of dip in your shoulder. Any movement of the foot could break the connection, could risk not getting that 10-0 start.
But you can see just how comfortable Anna is in this anchor spot. Delivers a stuck landing. Utah needed it.
And what's so impressive about this tumbling pass is she doesn't even grab her legs. Most gymnasts use their arms to pull their legs to help them rotate faster.
All right, moving over to the uneven bars. The biggest star in women's collegiate gymnastics. She's an Olympic champion. She's an NCAA champion. She is that girl. It's Jordan Childs in the anchor spot, and a 9.85 for the Bruins will give them a lead after the first rotation.
And Jordan struggled with that pack salto in practice, and I knew she was going to hit it in the competition because Jordan is a superstar, and she thrives under pressure moments like this.
Going to be close. Definitely a deduction on that hop, and she had some arm swings, almost two little hops. Leave it in the hands of the judges, right?
And watch the height on this. Pikes her body. Most gymnasts straddle, which means she has to get even more height to avoid hitting her heels on the bar.
Yeah, I watched her struggle with you, Allie, and I was really nervous for her yesterday if she was going to make this, but head coach Janelle McDonald says Jordan Childs doesn't stress, she doesn't overthink, she just does, and that's a clear example of it.
The last gymnast in this rotation, and I don't want to say the best for last, but man, it's hard to top the first pass you're going to see right here from Kalia Lincoln.
And Kalia floats into this double layout. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's one of the best double layouts in the entire world, including the Olympic level.
Count how long she's in the air.
Somehow it gets better every time I see her. It almost looks like the second flip gets even higher.
Remember, LSU is currently counting a fall. They need her to hit to erase that fall in the lineup.
She delivered. Another look at this first pass. Look how she opens on this double layout.
Elbows completely straight. I want to see her do a full twist out of that. And the second flip is higher than the first. That's what I'm looking for, and that's what the judges love to see.
We're going to go down to talk with Coach KJ Kindler, brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Taylor?
Thank you very much, John. Coach, a strong start for your team on vault. How would you assess the first rotation?
I'm really excited to just get out there and get some of those jitters out, but we're having a hard time determining this lineup. We have a really great vault team, so really impressed with that freshman, Mackenzie Eastep, first time out there. Lizzie Blessy, first time ever competing as a Sooner, so it's a great rotation for us.
Truly a wealth of riches, but head into 3 more rotations. You told us this week you're going to learn a lot about your team here tonight. What more are you looking for?
Oh yeah, we just got to take it moment by moment. There's a lot of new faces on this Oklahoma team. We're going to learn a lot, just like you said.
Thanks for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. A happy KJ Kindler after that first rotation. Maybe wanted a few more stuck landings on those vaults, but they are right in there. UCLA Bruins, though, guys, they got the lead after that bar rotation.
Well, that bar rotation was really solid. They were hitting handstand after handstand.
Score is in for Kalia Lincoln, a 9.85. So a good finish for LSU on floor exercise. We've got a tight one. The Stars have come out to shine here in Utah. Jordan Childs leading the way after one.
We welcome you back to the Mavericks Center. Warm-ups officially underway for rotation 2. We're glad you're with us. Now, if you think you've had a busy week, I would challenge you to walk a mile in Jordan Childs' shoes. The in-demand gymnast for the UCLA Bruins is truly making the most of every opportunity that is coming her way in and outside of the gym. We're talking Sports Illustrated, Time Woman of the Year, even a finalist this past season on Dancing with the Stars. She is truly an enigma. I asked her this week how a busy preseason has prepared her. She said, I think I'm immune to the chaos. We turn now to our Sprouts Farmers Market featured athlete who spoke to us about the challenges and rewards of being an in-demand athlete.
Man, 2025 was definitely a crazy year. Every moment that I had, from the beginning of January and the top of our season all the way up, from us going into, natties being runner-ups to going on a dancing show, it's like all of 2025 was an eye-opener for me. I was literally practicing in the morning. Sometimes I would go do weights if I had time. I would go to rehearsals, come home, eat dinner, repeat it every single day. So it was a crazy preseason, but my motto this year, I did my big one. Next year, I'm going bigger. Now going into 2026, I can be at peace with what I did the year before.
I had the pleasure of speaking with Jordan's Dancing with the Stars pro partner this week, Ezra Sosa. He told me what stood out to him about Jordan was her work ethic and her authenticity. He said, however Jordan Childs lives one day, she's going to show up the next and try to live it better. Even for a high-level professional dancer like him, he told me Jordan's mindset that she brought to rehearsals every day helped him throughout the season. He told me he's not at all surprised to see what an impact she's having on the gymnastics world. And pretty special thing for Jordan Childs, Ezra had a message to send her.
I'm here to wish you all the love and the luck, which honestly you do not need because you're slaying in your competition with all your gymnastics. I literally need to be there, and I wish I was cheering you on every step of the way. But I better see those bar moves in there, girl.
Jordan, one of our several individual NCAA champions in this meet. Reigning NCAA vault champion Kaylin Chio looks to build on that success. We'll see it. LSU heads to the vault next.
Well, the first rotation did not start as planned for Utah, the hometown team. 1 fall, 2 falls, and then unfortunately 3 falls. That means 2 of those routines are going to be counting in their final score, not how they wanted to start this competition.
So tough start for the Utes. Let's take a look at today's meet summary brought to you by AAI. Oklahoma led the way for Faith Torres led the way for Oklahoma on vault with that 9.925, but UCLA in the lead early. Saw those falls from Utah. Unfortunately, LSU solid on floor exercise. For Utah, that score on beam, their lowest score since February 18th of 2000 on that event. 26 years. Not the kind of history the Utah Utes want to make today. LSU, they moved to vault. This is Lexi Zeiss.
Coaches say she's so fit, she's so strong this year, and she's locked in that leadoff position on multiple events. Oh, almost had that stick.
And Sam, it's going to be interesting because vault is the only event where they take a under rotation deduction, which I don't think she should have because she basically had it, but she did step backwards. So in the rule book, they say you get an additional 10th off for not only the step, but also the under rotation.
Hannah Shively for Oklahoma leads off things here on the uneven bars.
And this is new for Hannah to lead off Oklahoma. Danny Severs, a senior who graduated last year, led off for 4 years. So Hannah has big shoes to fill, but nobody better to do this position than her.
Caitlin Rosen, left hand of your screen for UCLA.
Caitlin was dancing on the sidelines before she saluted for this beam routine. That's always a good sign, by the way, because it's a nerve-wracking event, as you can imagine. Only 4 inches wide here.
This UCLA team looks so comfortable up there on beam. As a coach, they usually will tell their athletes they want them to pretend that they're on the floor. And look at how comfortable she is up there, just taking her time.
This is a new spot for Caitlin Rosen. So Janelle knew it would be hard to replace those big leaders, but athletes like Caitlin Rosen have been stepping up in a big way.
Junior Cami Winger on floor for Utah. Big hole to dig out of. They almost got to be perfect the rest of the way to have any hope.
And in my opinion, Cami has one of the most important positions in the entire competition because she has the opportunity to get this team's momentum back, to get everyone's confidence back.
Madison Ulrich for LSU. Second up on vault, follows a 9.85 from Lexi Zeiss.
Looked really powerful in the warm-up with that front pike half. When she produces big routines, big moments like that, you think Jake Clark is excited about his transfer? Man, he's fist pumping all over the place.
I liked this 2.5 twist. The amplitude gets so much height. Hips open at the end, just has a little bit too much juice. 1/10 out for that out of bounds.
Nola Matthews getting a few words from Lacey Dagan, one of the coaching staff for UCLA. The freshman really showed out for the Bruins in that first rotation. 3 of them went up, put up big scores. Now here we go again. Nola following that 9.825 from Rosen. Lily Peterson for Oklahoma on bars. Shively a 9.9 for an opening score for the Sooners.
And Lily was part of that freshman class last year. They had a 98% hit rate. Lily bent her elbows, came a little bit too close on that high bar, did a great job adjusting like a pro.
And hopefully you can watch 2 things at once because you don't want to miss Nola Matthews' choreography on beam. It is one of the best.
Sam, I completely agree. Oh, went crooked on that back handspring. So hard to navigate the pressure. It's the first meet of the season for some of these athletes. UCLA's second meet, so they're just getting used to it, being out there. But Nola is one of those athletes on this event. She has a sparkle. When she's up on this event, I just can't take my eyes off of her.
Nola, a 5-time U.S. national team member. She has that elite pedigree. She did compete 3 events in the opener as well for UCLA. A strong opener for them last weekend. Only a few teams across the country opened last weekend, most of them opening this weekend. Cami Winger a 9.75, the opening score for Utah. Here is the sensational sophomore Avery Neff now.
Struggled with this first pass last week. Actually ended up tucking her legs, needs to stay layout.
Victoria Roberts, left hand of your screen for the Tigers. We wait for Madison Ulrich's score to come in.
I saw Victoria do a massive vault, a front handspring front pike half. In the warm-up, she stuck it, so she just has to copy and paste.
Definitely an upgrade from last weekend. That's really something she's going to be excited about.
This first tumbling pass is so fun. It reminds me of the 1992 Olympic gymnastics era. She just rebounds and goes right into another tumbling pass. We do not see that anymore.
A lot of twisting, a lot of combination passes. That's where she gets a lot of her bonus in this floor routine.
Yeah, she was savvy on that first pass, though, guys. She made it look like there was no errors, but she undercut that second skill and worked out of it perfectly. Sign of a veteran. Mackenzie E-step on bars, right hand. Roberts for LSU, left hand of your screen.
First competitive vault for LSU. Always good to get that one on your feet.
And for Oklahoma, 50% of the lineup is new this year, and Mackenzie is one of those new people. Oklahoma does such a great job of being so intentional about every single movement, and watching them in practice, they just nail handstand after handstand, stuck dismount after stuck dismount.
Who's a freshman?
Right? I mean, head coach KJ Kindler said she is just so methodical. She has a process, don't mess with it, and why would you when her gymnastics looks like that?
Tiana Sumana-Sakara on balance beam for UCLA. 9-2 for Nola Matthews.
And this is a special routine. If you didn't see it last weekend, this is only her second collegiate beam routine as she's a freshman, but nailed it last weekend and ended up getting a little emotional. I asked the coaches why she was so emotional after that beam routine, and they said she's just so proud and excited to be here. It finally was the time that she let her full emotions out.
And that beam score last week was a 9.95, which was the highest by a UCLA freshman in her collegiate debut in over 20 years since Tasha Swiker in 2005. So great company.
Ella Zerbis, right hand of your screen. Taylor's got more.
Ella Zerbis went viral last season for taking an anatomy test before performing on floor. I'm down here by the corral. She did take another anatomy test. She was very public about some of the anxiety she wrestled with last season, saying taking her mind off of it right before she competes is the best way to approach it. Keep in mind, a fall on beam, it was important that she approach this with mental strength. Carly Dockendorf told us her vulnerability has provided her confidence.
Yeah, Taylor, I actually spoke to one of their assistant coaches, Jimmy Pratt, about this before the meet. He said doing all around has actually helped keep her mind busy, and they haven't seen as much anxiety from her this year because of that.
Sumana-Sakara finishing up for the Bruins on beam. Needed a hit there. We'll cap off an NFL wildcard weekend Monday night. The Steelers host the Texans. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, the ESPN app with Peyton and Eli, the Manning cast, and on ESPN2. We've got all the coverages. Pre-game coverage begins with SVP and the Monday Night Countdown crew at 6 Eastern on ESPN. LSU on vault, Courtney Blackson.
Another transfer from Boise State, but the interesting thing about Courtney, she didn't compete for an entire year and can still produce vaults like that.
A retired transfer.
Yeah,
from
retired
Boise.
transfer. It's better.
Jay Clark got her out of retirement. Now another sensational freshman. They're all over the floor today. Ella Murphy for the Sooners.
This toe point is impressive to me. The way that she's able to just, the arch of her foot is so stunning. It makes the routine look so effortless. Even points her toes in her double back. Head coach KJ Kindler says, film our bars from the front, our legs are glued together. And she's exactly right.
Back-to-back big-time routines from freshmen for the Sooners. E-step with that 9.9. Hard to believe Ella Murphy's score won't be at least that, if not more. Mika Webster-Longen now for UCLA, 4th to go. Again, following that Nola Matthews 9-2, now a 9-7-2-5 right before her as well. So the Bruins looking to amp up those scores here, trying to hold off the surging Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch Mika last year. She started really building up that consistency. Head coach Janelle McDonald said that she's always so smart when she works beam, which means that when issues arise, she can adjust quickly because she's methodical.
Freshman Bailey Stroud for Utah, following a pair of 9.875s on floor.
That's a good example of the adjustment on balance beam Mika had in her series. She was a little off and pulled it back on to minimize those wobbles.
Mika has great flexibility. Her hips are open on each of her jumps, giving her that over 180-degree split.
And you just see the poise and confidence that comes from her on balance beam. Just an underclassman here, competing with so many national team members in their lineup. One step on the dismount.
Beam's been a tough place to score today, guys. Only 3 scores over a 9.8. Yes, we are not quite halfway through the competition, but surprising not to see any 9.9s, or very few 9.9s.
Oh. Looked like she had that. The rise of her hips looked good. Sometimes at the end of your routine, you're tired. It's the very beginning of the season. Getting your endurance for floor routines is not easy. Watch the hip rise. Looked like she needed to have her shoulders 10 degrees farther back in order to get her on her feet.
Tell you what, not the day for Utah so far, as we see Amari Drayton. She can absolutely soar on this event, following Blackson's 9.825 for LSU. Currently their lowest score of this rotation.
Watch how high Amari gets off the table before she starts. Oh, man.
Looked like she missed, you mentioned how high, missed that block a little, Sam.
Yeah, she completely missed the block. Usually she's closer to the front of the table. Watch her arms. You can see they're back further than they normally are, which completely changed the angle and had that fall 1 point.
Faith Torres on the uneven bars. Ella Murphy in 9.925 in the handstand held.
Wow, that was quite a save, and that packed salto is just massive. It gets higher and higher. I think sometimes she gets so excited. But that handstand position on top of the bar right there took so much back flexibility, shoulder flexibility, handles it like a pro.
Well, our coaches did say that that packed salto could be huge, but she's good at adjusting. A lot of gymnasts aren't.
Wow, watch her hip position there. It's over the bar, the way that she was able to save that. Not only is it tiring on your body, strains your body, but then it kind of can feel a little disoriented. You're in a different position than you're used to, and sometimes it can make you feel a little bit lost.
Faith Torres handles it. She is just a machine for the Sooners, has been her whole career now in her senior season. Jordan Childs just having fun. Have you ever seen Jordan Childs on the competition floor not having a good time?
I think it's her superpower.
I think that's when coaches are worried, if she's not having fun.
Well, she's got some pressure on her. It's not unusual for her to feel some pressure, but she's got some, following some low scores from her teammates.
Well, John, like we talked about, Jordan Chiles has every opportunity at her fingertips right now. So I asked her this week, why is this year important to you? Why is NCAA gymnastics important to you? She said, I want to be more than Jordan Chiles, the Olympian. I want to be Jordan Chiles, the UCLA Bruin. She said, I want to represent what 4 years of D1 gymnastics can do for you. She said, I feel most myself on the competition floor with my teammates, and it continues to be brought out in how she executes in her sport.
Well, she might not have told you, Taylor, but she also wants to be Jordan Chiles, the NCAA team champion. I know she does. You might not have told you, but she is a competitive athlete.
Oh, no, she told me that too.
Speaking of records, she is not new to scoring 10s on 2 of the events. This is an apparatus she has not scored a 10. Just by that little wobble, she most likely will not score a 10. But last weekend, 9.975, it was really close. She's capable of it, certainly. But it's about controlling the thoughts in your mind. Sometimes when it's so close and in grasp, it can cause little nervous mistakes. But watch her eyesight right here. Even on her dance, her eyes are glued at the end of the beam. She does a good job getting her chest vertical. That really helps her stay balanced.
I love this dismount. Watch the hip rise.
Hop back, not quite a stick, not quite a perfect 10, but hey, you gotta be watching the rest of the season because I think it's coming for her.
Would be surprised if she doesn't close out the grand slam of 10s, if you will, the gym slam. Got 2 more to go, but man, such a talented athlete and so much fun to watch. LSU's got 1 vaulter yet to go. It's sophomore Kaylin Chio. She's the SEC Freshman of the Year last year. She is absolutely lethal, and she can stick this vault, this Yurchenko 1.5, as well as anybody I've seen in collegiate gymnastics.
Yeah, well, reigning vault national champion as a freshman, and Jay Clark, head coach, said this year her vault is bigger. Look at this amplitude. Huge. Just that hop forward, again, that's up to the judge's discretion how many 10s they want to take, but a small hop is up to 1/10.
That was a great vault, but I guarantee you by Kaylin Chio's standards, she's disappointed. She wanted that stuck landing. Addison Feda for the Sooners finishing things off on what's been a very strong bar rotation.
And this anchor position is new for Addison, so what's challenging is she has had to wait for 5 gymnasts to go ahead of her. Not used to being cold, you gotta keep your body warm. It's a big adjustment. Excellent double layout, legs, toes glued together the entire time.
What a finish for the Sooners on bars. Let's not forget, a gymnast named Audrey Davis is no longer on the team, and she was arguably the greatest bar worker in collegiate history, and they've replaced her, and they look great.
But look at this, her arm positioning right there. She's so close to the bar. Usually that's a nervous mistake. It's the opposite of risky. You want to make sure you catch the bar, so you go a little closer to make sure you get it.
1 more to go for UCLA on beam, and it is the senior Sienna Alipio, 4-time national team member, following that Jordan Chiles 9.85. Utah finishing up with McKenna Smith on full floor. Poppy Grace Stickler went right before her, just a 9.7.
Strong triple series from Sienna Alipio, left-hand side of your screen. That's a 1/10 bonus. This is an athlete that used to be in that leadoff spot, but man, her scoring potential is so high because watch how she lands each skill. She absorbs the beam well before standing up. Strong arm positions, all the things the judges are looking for. Needs that stick. Nailed it. This is gonna be a big number for UCLA, and they needed it.
I think McKenna Smith is an athlete who doesn't get the recognition that she deserves on this event. Does tumbling passes like this.
And if you're into this floor music. We have to give all the props to McKenna because it actually took her 4 months to find that music. That's an incredibly long time to look for music in this sport.
In this first tumbling pass, the punch front has so much time to kick open her legs.
McKenna Smith, the model of consistency. Get this, you guys. She's hit 174 out of 175 routines in her collegiate career. I wonder if that one haunts her at night. I mean, it could have been perfect. All right, as we wait for these scores to come in, we're going to go down to Taylor Davis. She's got Anna Paderariu from UCLA.
Thank you so much, John. Over here with Utah, who just wrapped up floor. Some challenges over there on beam to start the meet, Anna, but how'd you see your team respond?
This was the best I think they've ever responded in a bad rotation. And the thing is, everyone kept the energy up. Everyone was having fun on floor. We were singing and dancing. We were clapping. We were just having fun with each other, and that's one of our main goals of the meet. So I'm really proud of them for that.
And so early in season, those can only be learning experiences. We've got 2 more rotations. What do you guys want to put out on the floor?
Each event is a different sport. So what's behind us is behind us. What's in front of us, we'll just stay present and do our own gymnastics, have fun still, just be with each other and love on each other, and that's all we can do.
Look forward to seeing it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. Let me correct myself. Transfer from UCLA, now on Utah, Anna Paderariu.
And if you have the privilege of knowing Anna, you know how insanely optimistic she is, and you can just read it all over her face. And that's the type of support Utah needs right now, as they're still fighting through to create a good meet and learn a lot about this team early in the season.
Sienna Alipio for UCLA finished strong with that 9.925, but it was Oklahoma that surged with that bar rotation. Feda at the end, a 9.925 to anchor it. They take a 3/10 lead. It's Oklahoma, LSU, now UCLA in third, Utah rounding out the top 4. We are halfway through what's been an outstanding start to the season.
Halfway through session 1 of the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad, Oklahoma with a slight lead after 2 rotations. Now, when you think about sports dynasties, the usual suspects come to mind. The New England Patriots, the Chicago Bulls. How about Oklahoma women's gymnastics, winners of 7 of the last 11 NCAA titles? And if you ask the athletes, that dynasty is directly connected to the legacy.
It's a new team every year. My freshmen have never done anything before. I want them to experience the kind of success that the people who've come before them have had. That keeps us hungry as a staff every single year.
Strong women, that's all I hear when we talk about dynasty in Oklahoma. Dynasty kind of means to me like legacy, kind of, and that's a really big thing at Oklahoma is our legacy, as you know, we've won 7 national championships and so many good people have come from this program.
We think about the people before us and they helped us get all those resources, so just to carry on the legacy of Oklahoma is amazing. You know, we may have experienced 7 national championships, but no one on our current team has. No one. To utilize their talents and their potential in the best way possible, I mean, that's what keeps us hungry.
From Utah on floor.
Well, according to head coach KJ Kindler, the dynasty is still being built, and based on the showing so far, they're not slowing down anytime soon. But it would go hand in hand that a sports dynasty would be led by a coaching legend. KJ Kindler is an inductee into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. She told me the honor is surreal, with people like Shannon Miller, Sooner softball head coach Patty Gasso, also members of the Hall of Fame. She was called and given the news recently and said, truly, it is one of my greatest honors. Well, we've got plenty more action to come, including the highly entertaining Jordan Childs heads to the floor with UCLA. Plenty more to come after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
This Oklahoma bar rotation was a standout for me. What I liked about this Ella Murphy right here is this team did not hold back. They were not timid. They went big for all of their skills and legs glued together on the dismount. And we cannot forget about Addison Feda in that anchor spot. New position for her. Just slight bend of the elbows there, but did a great job connecting correcting that really quickly. And then this is so cool, legs glued together, even from the front.
And Sienna Alipio needed a really big score after some just okay scores from the Bruins on beam. Nice triple series. Didn't show any sign of nerves, stuck the landing, and earned a 9.925 best score for the Bruins on beam.
Nailed that beam routine. UCLA needed it. Here is your meet summary halfway through this competition. UCLA led after that first rotation, but Oklahoma surging on that bar rotation. They take the lead by 3/10, and LSU also slips ahead of the Bruins. You see some of our high scores there in that last rotation. We're getting ready for rotation number 3. We're over the halfway point. It has not been a good day for Utah. They are currently almost 2 points behind the leader. If you said that was going to be the case, I would have said you're crazy. Just been an off day as we see Clara Raposo starting things off for the Utes on vault. Over on the uneven bars, Lexi Zeiss for the Tigers.
Clara Raposo starting with a Yurchenko 1.5. Nicely done. Coaches say they should be better on this event, something they're proud of in the preseason.
And last year, Lexi led this team off on this event, and I think it's such a smart decision to keep her in that position. Last year at this Sprouts meet, Lexi told me she had never been more nervous for a competition in her life. It's great to see how much she's grown in the last year.
Such a great personality. Every time we see her, she always has a smile on her face. Saw her dad, who's here again, always at every meet, comes up and says hi as well. Kira Wells now, Oklahoma, lead off on the balance beam.
Head coach KJ Kindler said how you mount the beam and begin your routine is so important. She wants to see her athletes take command. You're going to notice that from start to finish in her lineups.
One of the leaders of this Bruins team, Caitlin Rosen, the junior, starts things off for them on an event they've always been so fun to watch, the floor exercise.
And when we chatted with coaches about who was going to be their leadoff on beam, a lot of them said they were not sure, except for Coach KJ Kindler said she knew since August that Kira was going to be in this spot.
She's incredibly consistent day in and day out, the most consistent athlete they have, which is why they were excited to put her first. Little bobble on our series.
And Caitlin on floor performs better than most. She is so captivating.
Left-hand side of your screen, dismount, Kira Wells. Oh, try it again, too hard for the stick, 2 little steps back. But overall, a nice hit routine for Oklahoma. Kate wanted to keep a darker vibe for her floor routine. You see BJ Doss, associate head coach right there, who worked in M&M. And this whole routine was someone's good and bad conscience. So in case that's what you're feeling when you saw it.
Ella Zerbas now on vault for Utah. Raposo led off with a 9.8 here.
Another Yurchenko 1.5, really phenomenal
There
job.
you go.
She under-rotated that in the first meet, and sometimes that's all you need to just check it back in gear and find exactly where you're supposed to be.
Talked to Mike Hunger, the vault coach for Utah before this competition, said he approached this season a lot different than last year. He said he got them ready earlier, meaning they got on some hard surfaces earlier, so when they came to that first meet, it wasn't, are we going to make our vault? It's going to be how good are we going to do our vaults? And that vault from Zerbas really, I think, is the benefit of that approach. Ashley Cowan now on the uneven bars for the Tigers. 9.875 for Zeiss in the leadoff spot. Tough score.
And check out the height on this release move right here.
Woo, fingertips.
Oh, wow. And that connection down to the low bar, you really only have to hit above horizontal, and she almost hit the handstand.
Lily Peterson, the second to go for the Sooners on beam. Kira Wells, a 9-8, a good score, but by Oklahoma standards, not the score they want in that leadoff spot.
Good full turn. That sometimes can trip you up if you're nervous. It's a skill that you learn when you're very young, but sometimes you see the most amount of wobbles on it in a competition. But you can just see in her eyes, she's got her game face on. And they looked like this in the warm-up and in the 30-second touch. It was like nothing but attacking the beam was going through their head.
We saw her on balance beam anchor that rotation with an outstanding 9.925. Now Sienna Alipio for the Bruins, a second to go here on floor exercise.
Lily's an athlete that's just phenomenal under pressure.
Oh, hop back, but her body was in the right position. They wanted to show off her beautiful dance training that she had as a child. They thought Florence the Machine would be the perfect nod to that.
Nicely done from Alipio for the Bruins on floor exercise, but moments ago on the vault, Zerba's got a 9.925. Now here comes Ashley Glenn. Can she do better than that? It's gonna be tough.
She's a powerhouse. Another 1.5 from Utah. Oh, that's what they're looking for. All the changes, John, that you mentioned, Mike Hunger's doing. It's working over there.
I mean, get your top 10 list ready. And I don't want to see any 6'10" basketball players dunking ahead of that Ashley Glenn vault. That was incredible. 9.975. One judge gave her a 10. Crowd loved it. Ella Murphy on balance beam. Madison Ulrich for LSU on the uneven bars.
One of my favorite parts of Madison's bar routine is her double layout dismount. Watch her body position when she lands completely upright.
You're watching the left-hand side of your screen, Ella Murphy right there. A lot of the Oklahoma girls I noticed are really aggressive on beam, but Ella actually has a more graceful approach to all of her skills, and it almost looks like she just floats down to the landing.
Sensational bar routine in that last rotation. Trying to add to it here on beam.
Allie, you mentioned her toe point. You can see her releve right there. Head coach KJ Kendler said, if they're thinking about the releve, they're not thinking about being nervous. I thought that was an interesting approach to balance beam, and it's certainly working for the Sooners on beam.
Could that be the first 9-9 on beam in this competition? I know I got the beam queen, Sam Peshek, next to me. Second 9-9 rather, Alipio. Hard to believe there's only been one 9-9 so far. Women's college basketball, ESPN's triple header tomorrow afternoon. Number 22 North Carolina and Notre Dame start us off at 1 Eastern. Then 12th ranked LSU hosts 2nd ranked Texas. And the afternoon wraps up with Duke and Stanford. So back over to vault for Utah. 3 straight career high scores, flirting with that perfect 10. Can McKenna Smith, can you get us our first perfect 10 of this competition?
Let's see, she's good at the landing. sometimes when you follow a stick, there's a lot of pressure to follow it up with a stick.
Mika Webster-Longin now following a 9.75 from Olipio. If UCLA wants to keep pace with the Tigers and the Sooners, they're going to have to amp up these scores.
Went a little bit crooked on that. Stepped to the side. Judges want to see you step forward, so will be a bit of a deduction for that. What I notice about Mika, though, is she does a good job of taking up the entire length of the floor. It really stretches throughout her tumbling passes. Even her toes are pointed when she's running into her tumbling passes. Watch her legs when she lands, just went completely over to the side. One of her shoulders must have been dipped.
Addison Feda anchored that outstanding bar rotation for Oklahoma. Now fourth up, following a 9.925, the second 9.9 plus score on balance beam here in this competition. That was Ella Murphy.
Man, she was such a fun athlete to watch last season.
Caitlin Chio for LSU mounts the bars.
Kaylin had such a memorable freshman year. She has the highest all-around score recorded in LSU history for any freshman. And watching this dismount, her knees and toes are glued together the entire time. Big release move right here. Caught it with her elbows so straight. Right here, the dismount, you could fit a paper in there and she'd squeeze it the entire time.
Caitlin Chio doing the all-around today with a score better than 9.825, I believe will put her in the lead currently. Obviously more gymnasts to go in this rotation, including Feda, who's also in the hunt for that all-around title.
Addison's been crushing this beam routine. I really love the way that she moves up there. She just looks so comfortable. Coaches say that she's really improved her consistency in practice too, and I think that does translate to the competition. She looks more confident up there to me. Yep, money.
Watch the elbow position. Don't want to see any bent elbows. Caught it a little bit close. Sometimes that happens when you're competing. You hold back a little bit, pull in a little bit so you don't fall.
Tiana Sumana Sakara now on floor exercise for UCLA. Following a 9.8 from Webster-Longin.
Massive double layout. I asked Tiana, how does it feel from going from the elite world 4 passes to 2? She said, breath of fresh air.
Tiana is of Sri Lankan descent, but grew up watching Bollywood movies with her family. So this routine really represents a mix of tradition with modern dance moves. They worked really hard on that one.
Outstanding gymnast, so much fun to watch. Was a tremendous elite athlete as well. Made a run at that 2024 Olympic team also. To go over to balance beam, Taylor's got something for us. Taylor?
Well, Hannah Shively returns to competition after missing the entirety of last season with an Achilles tear. And if you go to her social media, all of her gymnastics posts have the hashtag Revenge26. I asked KJ Kindler about it, and she said this is her revenge tour. She has approached her rehab with such tenacity to not just be back, but be back on 3 events. This is a personal endeavor for her, even being back on this stage, and she's doing it well for her teammates. Revenge 26, John.
I love it. She has looked tremendous so far in training and in the competition. Courtney Blackson on bars for LSU, right hand of your screen.
And that release move is unique. Not a lot of athletes in the world are able to do that, but I have not seen many get as high as Courtney Blackson on that. Just catapults over the bar. And Sam, as you mentioned, she took an entire year off from gymnastics. I did that too, and I can tell you, it is so hard to come back. She said she was sore every day for 3 months.
Well, that's going to be a big score, and you're looking at another routine that's going to be a big score for their team.
And if you look at the score tower, LSU, Oklahoma, they're the top 2 teams after the second rotation. And these scores, big for both of these teams, going back and forth. KJ Kindler giving a big hug to Hannah. Well deserved. Ashley Sullivan now follows a 9.85.
Associate head coach BJ Doss has performed and danced with Beyonce, Pink, Usher. She even toured with Avril Lavigne. So she called up the choreographer that did the Britney Spears Slave video and actually got the exact choreography from the video. How cool is that, Allie?
It's incredible. And this routine is so memorable, as all of the UCLA routines are, but they really set themselves apart on this event with the choreography.
And the 10, watch. It comes through. That's Avery Neff. We'll show it to you in a moment. Crowd is loving it as Ashley Sullivan finishes an important floor routine for the Bruins amidst the cheers. Here is a look at it. This is the first 10-0 of this collegiate season. Avery Neff, and she flies.
Yurchenko 1.5. She stuck one in warm-up. Sometimes it's tough to repeat, but not Avery. She's got that rinse and repeat, and watch her elbows on this table. She waits before she starts twisting and opens her hips at the perfect time to just float and absorb the mat for a perfect landing. The judges recognize that.
Man, oh man, there might be some as good as that this year, but no one will be better. The top 10 list is getting real crowded, guys, because there are a couple of big ones as Faith Torres takes to the beam for Oklahoma, and this is a big moment for the Sooners, going back and forth with LSU. They just finished each of them with a pair of 9.95s for their respective events. Connor McLean on bars for the Tigers.
Connor's handstand positions are just exceptional. Looks like she's just hanging out on the wall in that handstand position, and we could see another 10 if she sticks this. Oh, so close.
Faith Torres, left-hand side of your screen. We talk about how phenomenal she has been in competition. Last year, 3rd in the all-around at NCAA, so she is the top all-around athlete returning this season. You see why she's done so well.
So great finish for Oklahoma on the balance beam, as well for LSU on floor exercise. Now the stage is set. All eyes on the Olympic champion, Jordan Childs, as she takes to the floor trying to keep her Bruins in the hunt. Also looking for the all-around title. 9.925 for her on this event. Gets her in the lead after 3.
Could that be a 10? She's done it many times before. I'm predicting now that Jordan is going to have the most 10s out of any collegiate athlete this season.
Very well could be. And as a senior, choreographer BJ Doss told me that she was really nervous to create this routine for Jordan.
Look, sticks it and just decides to do a lunge out of it because she feels like it. And this front through to double tuck, same thing, control on this landing, no problem.
This choreography, the main message is spreading joy through her own style and energy. Wanted to pick artists that everyone knows and that she liked to feel and have fun and bring people joy. They also included the I Want to Dance with Somebody because it's their head coach Janelle's favorite song, and they even surprised her at practice with that. She loved it.
Absolutely going to be one of those routines throughout the collegiate season. Always Jordan Childs on floor, but again, in 2026, that is going to be one of the hallmarks of the season, watching her perform floor exercise. So fun to watch on Dancing with the Stars, too, right there, all the way until the end. Allie, you know what that's like.
It was so incredible. She was actually training in the morning for gymnastics and then doing Dancing with the Stars in the evening. I do not know how she balanced both, and somehow she's even better than she's ever been before.
9.925 will currently get her in the lead in that all-around. We're going to go down to Taylor. She's with Courtney Blackson.
Thank you very much, John. Courtney, you just put up a 9.95 on bars after a year off of collegiate competition. I'm just going to ask you how you just did that.
You know, I couldn't have done it without my team and my coaches. They have supported me throughout this whole entire journey. And just practice, practice, practice. Rely on your numbers, have confidence, and honestly, just go out there and have fun. That's what I thought about.
You are one of the many new faces making up this LSU team. We're getting introduced to you guys here at this meet. One more rotation. What are you looking forward to seeing?
You know, I'm really excited for Beam. They've been killing it in practice, so as long as they rely on that, rely on their good turns that's backing them up, stick those landings, and, you know, take a deep breath. It's going to be great.
Amazing. Heck of a showing so far. Incredibly impressive, John. I don't know how she did it. Go enjoy it.
Thank you
Absolutely,
so much.
Taylor. I think a year off, that's called retirement for me. LSU's going to have to bring it on B, but you know who brought it on vault? It's Avery Neff. Utah, 4 of 6 scores are career highs, and this one was the capper, 10.0. Halfway through this Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad, and right now it's the defending NCAA champs Oklahoma in the lead, but LSU has narrowed it to less than 2/10 heading into the final rotation. John Roethlisberger, Allie Raisman, Sam Peshek. Such a great competition so far, guys. Your thoughts?
I'm blown away. I feel like every rotation it gets better and better. It's really hard to believe this is only the second meet of the season and the first for many of these athletes.
This could be the national championship at the end. We're getting such a treat with this preview here. We're seeing stuck landings, huge tumbling passes, and lots of fun choreography.
Well, let's talk highlights from that first rotation, and why not start with that big vault?
Avery Neff, a perfect 10. Yurchenko, 1.5. It looks so effortless for her. She doesn't even move when her feet hit the ground. Look at her arms. Boom. well deserved. And I'm guessing we're going to see a few more of those throughout the season.
And Courtney Blackson gets a 9.95 on this event. The elbows are so straight the entire time in this double layout position. Even from the front, the toes are glued together. I wish my bars looked like that when I was competing. And Jordan Childs showing that when you are authentically yourself, anything is possible. She just gets better and better.
Yeah, so much fun to watch on this event. Certainly expect some perfect numbers from her this season, Allie.
I definitely do. Like I said, I'm predicting it now. The most tens out of any athlete on that event.
More gymnastics coming up later today on ESPN2, our second quad meet of the day. Some great teams as well, highlighted by that Michigan State team who finished 6th in the country last year. Highest finish ever for that team. And your schedule brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market this season. So many great competition. I mean, talk about LSU versus Oklahoma next week. I mean, February 20th, rather. That is going to be an outstanding one as well. So many great throughout. Follow it. Make sure you tune in. You will not be disappointed. Well, here we go. Heading into that fourth rotation. It's going to be a good one. Can Oklahoma hold off LSU? Stay tuned after this message and a word from our ABC station. Welcome back to the fourth and final rotation here in Utah. This is how we got here. UCLA led in the first, but it's been Oklahoma since then. But LSU, led by that Blackson 9.95 on bars, have closed the gap to less than 2/10. It was like two heavyweight fighters exchanging blows in that third rotation, and it is going to be a great one coming down here at the end. LSU will be on beam, Oklahoma on floor. UCLA, they're about 6/10 behind, a little more than 6/10 behind, so they've got to get some work done, maybe get some help in the form of mistakes from LSU and Oklahoma. Utah obviously had their struggles despite an amazing vault rotation. It appears to be a two-team race at this point. Jordan Childs, this all around, you guys, talk about just a list of stars right there. And right now, the biggest star of them all, Jordan Childs at the top.
I mean, take a screenshot of this. These are the athletes you're going to want to continue to follow all season long. They are so much fun. They have difficult gymnastics, and you're going to see excellence and a lot of perfect tens, I'm willing to bet.
5 gymnasts within a half a tenth for that all-around title. UCLA will be over on the vault. And we're going to go over the bars here. This is Utah getting things started off with McKenna Smith.
McKenna Smith got a 9.9 last week. And I got to tell you, I know Utah did not start the way that they wanted to, but I'm really impressed the way that they've come back. Almost got that stuck landing. Traveled really far. Judges would like to see her land a little closer to the bar, but good start.
A good start over there on bars. Tiana Samana-Sakara on vault for UCLA, leading things off.
Doing a Yurchenko full. Start value for that is a 9.95, but it's really clean in the air. This is one of those risk versus reward scenarios on going with a lower value vault, but because it's so clean, watch her legs in the air, they're squeezed. I'd just like to see her open her hips a bit more before they hit the ground so she can stick it.
Sam, I think Tiana has a better entry point than most athletes in the world. It's textbook.
Here we go to the floor exercise. First gymnast to go, sophomore Kelsey Slade. Only done one bar routine in her collegiate career. Here she is leading off in a big moment for the Sooners. Meanwhile, on beam, LSU will lead off with Kylie Cohen.
Front aerial, you see the arms continue to move into that jump, making sure she's showing the judges there was no pause in that combination. We continue to talk about just how difficult this leadoff position on beam is, and all the coaches say the same thing about their leadoff athletes, and it's the right consistent temperament. You have to be calm, you have to be able to manage your nerves, and Kylie's doing a really good job of that.
Remember, it's just 0.175 separating these two teams. So that's the equivalent of 2 steps on a landing.
And Kelsey on floor landed with her chest and her hips a little bit too far forward, but did a good job covering that up. Sometimes the podium is so bouncy that if you hit the floor and land at the wrong angle, you bounce back a little more than you normally would.
Great finish from Kylie Cohen on that beam routine for LSU. Kelsey Slade with the finishing touches on that floor routine. We'll see these scores going back and forth from the 2 leading teams, LSU and Oklahoma, on beam and floor respectively. Madison Animi on vault.
Another Yurchenko full, gets really high off the table, but because it's a lower value vault, they really got to hone in on those stick landings.
UCLA led off with a 9.875. McKenna Smith on bars for Utah, 9.85 for her. Abby Rissman now the second gymnast to go. Really important, you guys, for Utah to still finish strong here, even though they're not going to win this meet. But there's something called an NQS. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but they have to get a qualifying score for the postseason, and all these meets matter.
Great save by Abby. I admire how she's not holding back. That one of those first skills she did is called an eagle grip. It requires so much flexibility. Actually pulled in a little bit too much on that first release move, but was able to adjust.
Left hand of your screen, Lexi Zeiss follows Kylie Cohen's 9.9. Great finish for Rissman on bars. Looks like advantage LSU early. We're still waiting for Slade's score, but hard to believe it'll be above a 9.9. It isn't. It's a 9.8, so 1/10 advantage for the Tigers after one routine from each team.
Well, as aggressive as Lexi Zeiss is on the other events that she competes, she's bringing it to beam now. This is her first year competing this event because she cleaned up moments like that. You can see her legs at 180 or above 180. That's been an area of focus for her.
As Lexi Zeiss continues over on floor exercise, Camilla Pavlock for Oklahoma is the second gymnast to go. It doesn't feel like 9.8s are going to get it done here. Feels like 9.9 plus scores for these two teams are what it's going to take to come out of here with the top title.
Just a hop on that dismount, but overall strong performance from Lexi Zeiss early in the season.
And this is the only event we're seeing Camilla compete on because she has a wrist injury. You'll notice in the choreography, of course, the judges are looking for artistry and beauty, but head coach KJ Kindler choreographs these routines in these moments right here to help the athletes in between their tumbling passes breathe and relax before their next tumbling pass.
Caitlin Rosen, left hand of your screen, follows Anivi's 9.775.
First, Yurchenko 1.5 of the lineup. Landed with a little too straight knees for my liking. You can see right after she's bent them, but you need to bend your knees before your feet hit the ground. Sister's a gymnast at Alabama, so big gymnastics family. Mom was their coach. She must be so proud of both of her daughters.
Yeah, interesting finish to this competition. You think ending on beam, so much pressure, so easy to make a mistake. And you got Oklahoma on floor, which generally speaking, harder place to have a major error. But if you're looking at scoring potential, you guys, if all these athletes hit, I feel like it's advantage LSU's beam rotation over Oklahoma's floor rotation. Might be close, but slightly.
We'll see.
Lexi Zeiss, as I say that, Lexi Zeiss a 9.775. Lower than you guys thought?
I
or
think
right
so.
on?
Maybe they didn't give her a connection or something with the start value.
She looks solid to me, just the hop on the landing. I'm wondering if we all missed something.
Anna Paterario now for Utah on bars, follows a 9.825 from Rissman.
And Anna on bars looked like she just let go of the bar too early on bars, what a lot of people don't realize is when you're on the podium, everything feels so different. It's different than you're used to in the gym. You've got to adjust so quickly.
Kalia Lincoln flew out of the gym on floor exercise on that big double layout. Gonna have to be a little more in control here. Here she is on beam. Following that Zeiss 9775, LSU does not want to count that score.
And a powerful athlete like Kalia, it's actually harder to do beam because you have to control your power a little more. And when I say control, you gotta bend your knees every time you land to absorb the beam. Watch it here.
And Sam, it's going to be interesting if the judges give her that front aerial connection. She dipped her shoulder, so there might be an issue with the start value.
Well, and the judges conferred, I guess, on Lexi Zeiss's score. It actually got raised to a 9.8. And I would like to clean up one other thing. 2 judges per event here, not 4 judges here at this competition.
Big extended leap combination. Tough to finish on the side because there's nothing to spot over there. Usually you want to look at the end of the beam to keep your balance.
This is a big moment for Oklahoma. Mackenzie Estep on floor exercise. She's a freshman. She's been sensational. But now Oklahoma has 2 scores of 9.8 or lower as Kalia Lincoln finishes beam for LSU.
Oklahoma treats the jumps and the leaps and the releve going into their jumps almost as a 5th event. There are some days they do an entirely rotation on its own just to focus on how they walk into their leaps and the position of their feet in between each jump.
If you look at the scores for LSU and Oklahoma and you drop the low, I know it's early in the rotation, you drop the low for each team, it's a 1/10 advantage for LSU. They were trailing .175 after the last rotation. It's now less than a 10th.
I mean, what good practice for these teams to feel that type of pressure at the end of the competition, just like it's going to be at NCAA championships months from now.
Steps on the landing, though, guys. Steps on the landing for Oklahoma, and that's where you leave it up to the judges, and that's where you lose tenths. Was that in control?
What stood out to me was the height difference between the first flip and the second. And right here, she's smart, though. She dances out of it, so gives the illusion that maybe she had a little bit more control than she did.
Madison Ulrich now follows Kalia Lincoln's 9.825. Neither one of these teams running away with it. You think there's an open door with some of these scores around that 9.8 area, but neither team taking advantage. Can Ulrich break that 9.9?
Back handspring layout, small adjustment in her landing. She was really solid and consistent on this event the past couple years when she was at Denver. They talk about her personality, and I think it's a little different than a lot of the gymnasts on the LSU team. She's a bit more quiet, a bit more reserved, and you can almost see that in her demeanor on beam, just how calm she looks up there. Looks a bit unfazed, if you ask me. That's the perfect demeanor to have on a mental event like balance beam. Moving her arms just like Allie and the judges like to see in those connections. LSU is looking for a stick. Not quite a stick, but man, on the beam, it was beautiful.
Madison qualified to the NCAA championships as an all-arounder individually last season, finished 6th there. So big get for Jay Clark and the LSU Tigers to have her on their squad. Lily Peterson now. We're halfway through this rotation. She's the 4th gymnast to go. E-step, a 9.925. Through 3 athletes, it's tied in this rotation. So that means Oklahoma still has a slight lead.
similar issue with both of her tumbling passes. Looked like she's almost surprising herself that she's landing so upright.
Caitlin Chio, the sensational sophomore on balance beam, follows Ulrich's 9.825, a pair of 9.825s for LSU. Lily Peterson finishes up her floor routine. It really feels like time is running out for the Tigers. They've got to go 9.9 plus on these last two, it feels like.
She is so good at just landing where she is. On that series, her feet weren't even straight down the beam. They were crooked, and you couldn't even tell by the way that she did not react in her series.
That front aerial is exceptional. The way that she closes her legs before her feet even hit the beam, just floats into it.
Well, she scores so well in college because from that side angle, you can see that all of her skills are really textbook. There's not many, if at all, built-in deductions here. Switch leap gets perfectly 180, and then she just so effortlessly is gentle when she lands on the beam.
Gotta have a stick.
And leave it to Caitlin Chio to get the job done. She's showing why she had such a strong freshman year, and she's coming back for more.
And watch the front foot right here on this layout, right here. Just, I don't know how she was able to grip the beam. And if you're a judge and you're looking at her chest position, they might not have seen that foot move.
And that, for most athletes, would have been a step forward, but not for Caitlin Chio. She just is patient and sinks into that landing.
Greeted by the newest member of that LSU coaching staff, Haley Bryant, one of the best collegiate gymnasts in the history of the sport, now on the coaching staff, and we're told she's made that transition seamlessly. Big moment now for Elle Miller for Oklahoma. Lily Peterson, the second 9.775 for the Sooners in this rotation. That means they are counting one of them. Meanwhile, over on vault, the leader in your all-around after the last rotation, Jordan Childs.
Most difficult vault, Yurchenko double full. Wow. Not a stuck landing, but that's gonna be a huge score for UCLA.
Caitlin Chio on beam, 9.95. That is huge. Miller has to hit and hit big here for the Sooners.
Well, John, Elle's highest score is a 9.95. She's certainly capable of it.
Bit under-rotated on these twisting combination passes.
Yeah, and Oklahoma does a lot of skills where they twist into their landing, meaning not straight double layouts. And sometimes, you guys, those landings, they can be more challenging, and it seems like they are just a little bit for the Sooners here today. Connor McLean in the anchor spot. I'll tell you what, if you want someone in the anchor spot, there are a few in the country that do balance beam better than Connor McLean, former elite gymnast, sensational here.
If we talk about Caitlin Chio being textbook, Connor McLean is better than what textbook suggests. Her leaps are oversplit. Right there, pause and a wobble, dips that shoulder. Gonna be really interesting to see how the judges handle that slight pause in that combination. If they devalue it, it's a big deal, but more than likely, they'll just take a deduction for the pause.
Quick all-around update. Caitlin Chio with that 9.95 took the lead back over Jordan Childs.
I've never seen Connor look this off before. Usually on balance beam, she is so centered, so balanced. But again, reminding everyone watching, it's the beginning of the season and everyone's working out their nerves because it really feels like NCAA championships in here.
Jay Clark said they're taking Connor slowly into this season, not doing all around yet, did 2 events here, but certainly capable on all 4 events, and somebody that will certainly, I think, if she stays healthy and competes consistently, she'll be in the hunt for the all-around title at the NCAA championships.
But as someone that did all-around in college, sometimes it's easier going from the all-around or 3 events down to less events because you have more time to think and overthink, which isn't always a good thing.
So that'll do it for LSU on beam. That is their last gymnast to go. So now all the pressure and attention turns to Addison Feta on floor exercise. Elle Miller, a 9.875. So that little wobble on that landing didn't cost her too much. Got to get a hit here to win.
And for Addison, this first tumbling pass is new for her. She added in a front full twist, used to do front through to 2.5, and changed the directions of her tumbling pass. So this is going to be interesting.
We don't know what Addison needs for Oklahoma to win team. There's still some discussion over McLean's beam score, but we do know a 9.975 can get her the all-around lead. It's in the judges' hands now, truly, both on balance beam and floor exercise for who walked out of here with the team title.
And this is the new tumbling pass, the front full and a 2.5 twist, just a hop forward. A good problem to have is to have too much energy. And then right here, this front double twist used to be her first tumbling pass. Big hop out of it and a step out of it. But Sam, as you mentioned in the beginning, this is a learning experience. So great job.
So you can see right now, Oklahoma at the very bottom, a .025 lead over LSU. However, waiting for that last score to come in for both of these teams, and they both are going to drop a low. Right now for LSU, that low score is a 9.8. The low score for Oklahoma is that glaring 9.775. They had 2 of them. They're going to count 1, but they're looking to drop the other. Who moves up more when this score comes in and that low score is dropped is the question.
Well, other than winning this meet, the important part about this competition is what all the head coaches told us. And they said they need to see how our team responds under pressure. And none of these teams were perfect here tonight. They're going to get back in the gym, and they're going to work on how to stay calm, how to stay relaxed, and trust in their preparation a little bit more to eliminate those mistakes we saw tonight.
2 of the best head coaches in the country having words with their team after this one. Certainly an early season meet. They both know this doesn't define their season, but I'll tell you what, they both want to win. They are competitive. Jay Clark said, hey, we've gotten second 2 years in a row at this competition. We want to win it, but at the same time, we know we're going to build from whatever they do here today.
And let me remind you that the team that won this meet last year ended up becoming the national champion, so maybe there's more on the line than you think.
So Addison Feta's score is in. It's a 9.8. So with that score now, Oklahoma just with a 0.5 tenth lead, which tells me if you drop that 9.8 for Lexi Zeiss, the McLean score has got to be a 9.85 or better for them to get the win. 9.875 wins it alone. 9.85, it's a tie.
Well, guys, I'm watching LSU's head coach, Jay Clark, just watch the 3 judges conferring over the score. They're going through their notes line by line to see where there was any discrepancies in her score.
And I want to know, and there's Jay with the scowl, Garrett Griffith next to him, part of that staff. Connor, great execution, but had so many of those little balance checks. You mentioned them in that little movement. Those 0.5 tenth deductions, it seems like there was at least 3 or 4 of them. With if you do my elementary school math, and 9.85 is going to be tough.
Yeah.
I think it might be a start value issue. If you dip your shoulder or move your foot slightly, they will not give you the connection and you will not get that 10-0 start value. So my guess is that they're deciding what that start value is going to be.
So they are conferring on the corner of the beam podium. We are being told there's also a conference on floor. We'll find out if that is indeed the case, because that could potentially change an Oklahoma score as well. I'd love to be in that conference right there, guys. How about you?
We also got to mention Haley Bryant right there, one of the best now in her coaching role. And we saw a timeout from Jay Clark.
All right, as we're waiting for this score to come in, let's take another look at this Connor McLean beam routine. I'm pressure on you guys. You guys put your judging hats on for a moment.
Yeah, Allie, you and I both saw the same thing right at the beginning of the routine in her leap combination.
Yeah, anywhere you see Connor connect 2 skills in a row, pay attention to her feet and her shoulders. They need to be completely square and her body cannot stop moving.
Yeah. Right there.
Yep. Dipped her shoulder before she went and tried to save that, but the beam is so unforgiving. And I feel bad standing here finding little things because, Sam, we know how difficult beam is. We've been there where we haven't had the routines that we wanted, but right there again, shoulders completely dip.
Yeah, we call that a nickel and dime routine where she's just wobbling throughout this. And I'm looking at the code of points. It says poor rhythm between connected elements. That's up to 2/10. Now, if she doesn't get that combination, then it's a start value issue. And I really think that's what they're dissecting in the judges' notes.
Yeah, and I think it's 2 connections. So it could be 2 issues where the start value is going to be a lot lower.
And if you take out the connection issue, because that is certainly beauty in the eye of the beholder, she had a couple wobbles. The first one looked like a 10th to me. She bent all the way over. That second one, if it's a half 10th, you're already at a 10th and a half. And then she had a little movement of her foot on the landing. That's another half. That's 2/10. That's already down to a 9-8. And we see the score has come in. And they were a lot harsher than I think you and I would be. 9-6-5 for Connor McLean. And look, but hold on, they are tied. And the reason is that Lexi Zeiss score, I believe, has changed to a 9-8-5. We talked about how we thought it might have been too low. It was at a 9-8. That half 10th goes up. And we have got a tie currently. We're going to make sure there's not a tiebreaker. We got to take a breath. Get me some water. Allie and Sam are going to put their judges' hats on again. We're going to be back. Don't go away. We got a lot to close out after this. Welcome back to the Maverick Center. We have had our fill of drama. You can see the score, 197-5 for both Oklahoma and LSU. You're thinking it's a tie. Well, it's not a tie. There is a tiebreaker. That is when they count all 6 scores for the team on all events. They do not drop the low. They add them all together. And if you do that, Oklahoma Sooners, the defending national champs, are going to get the Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad team title. We'll be right back. Sprouts Farmers Market Collegiate Quad is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, powering women on and off the mat. We have had some drama. Again, the tiebreaker is each team counts all 6 scores on all 4 events. They do not drop a score. When you do that, Oklahoma wins by 1.425. Thoughts?
Well, I know LSU wanted to win, but I actually think this is the best thing that could happen to them early in the season because you know they're going to be even more hungry to come back for that championship win.
Yeah, and this, in my opinion, is an intimidating meet to start the season. So well done to all these athletes. Very proud of them.
Oklahoma gets the win. For Taylor Davis, Allie Raisman, Sam Peshek, I'm John Roethlisberger. So long from Oklahoma. Coming up next, ABC World News Tonight or your local news.